Oh, you have a theme song.
Yeah. Hey!
I love that for us.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Rescued-Rey podcast. We're going to try to do this in one take, meaning I press record. We are going now. We're not going to start over. We're just going to go in, okay? Welcome back. You may notice that there is a woman next to me. But if you are only listening on Spotify, we have a special guest today. Her name is
Jess.
I
had to make that so awkward. Hi, I'm Jessica.
We've got Jessica here. She is my first official guest. I mean, yes, we've had Corey, but, that's my husband, so it's like, it doesn't really count. Yeah, it doesn't really count. No. It doesn't really count. So Jessica's here, and it's about time.
I know, because we literally have talked about this for so long. I want to say, I literally invited myself onto here because I had to pressure her to let me on her podcast.
Is that how it went?
I feel like it did.
Oh, shoot.
Because there were so many times where I was like, you were like, oh, you need to be on my podcast.
And you're like, well, let me know when.
I think I literally can show you Instagram DMs of being like, when and where.
Yeah. I guess it's because I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know. I have to figure out what we're going to talk about and all that good stuff.
She's a very organized person.
So let me just throw my... Sorry. Oops. Ooh. We're just going to lay...
The intro's not done yet.
Yeah, let's just lay that intro music down low. So actually, let's just give some context. So we plan to meet today at 7. Around 7. And what happened when you got here, girl? You were making that exit.
Everything was pitch black. By the time I got into pitch black. Yeah. By the time I got into Santa Paula, everything was pitch black. I didn't really realize, but I had a feeling by the time I got here.
Yeah, she was making her way towards the crib.
Mm-hmm. And I parked, and we were ready. And
I came out with a lamp.
Mm-hmm. Not just any kind of lamp. It was the little tiny camping lamps.
From Ace Hardware.
Oh, yeah. Everybody needs one. I'm surprised you had one, to be honest.
So we planned to film and record a podcast, and then, boom, the power went out. She was literally on her way.
Literally, it just happened. I was on the 126, and I saw this, big bright light. I told her, and I was like, that's kind of weird. It happened, 3 times. Then I drove into the town, and then there was firefighters and fire trucks everywhere, and I was like, what is happening? And... now here we are. 2 hours later?
Yeah. So she pulls up, and I mean, that just gave us an opportunity to warm up because this is her first time. I think
anything, pretty much.
Okay, yeah. So we're kind of warmed up. We've talked. We've caught up a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to catch up because I feel like whenever you and I talk, we kind of just.
We just go
anything that comes to our minds, we're going for it. But it's it feels like we're catching up, though.
It's good conversation, I feel like. It's one of those friendships that you really don't have to try. You just kind of and then you let your guard down and you're kind of just okay, we can talk about anything. Yeah. And that's what happened for 2 hours was us just.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Letting our ADHD run wild.
She said hour.
Yeah.
Do you think I have ADHD?
Yes, I do.
Wait, why?
Because I've actually been diagnosed with ADHD and clinically diagnosed.
I know.
So I tell everybody by the state of California, I have ADHD.
Yeah.
I got tested.
You're not just saying, oh, I have my ADHD acting up. People do that.
Because everybody does that.
I know. Or my OCD. It's stop. People really have that.
I'm OCD I feel is a territory I don't touch. I'm I am not close to anywhere near OCD. But as far as ADHD, you have all qualities.
Wait, why?
Because,
she's
it's very evident as far as...
is?
But it's not a bad thing to have ADHD, you guys, okay? I'm just saying it's a quality that you can notice when somebody else has it, especially if you've analyzed your habits with ADHD.
Okay.
You have a tendency to talk a lot. But not in a bad way. I'm over here I have it, so I'm able to point out what it is.
I understand.
Yeah, but honestly, it's people think ADHD is somebody who's super hyperactive, but the reality is that's not how it goes. It's just a person who has that consistent overanalyzation of things and has it's mainly psychological. You can be ADHD and have racing thoughts, not be able to do daily tasks, not able to complete things, or you start things and not finish them in a sense. So honestly, I think everybody has on a spectrum some form of ADHD.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
But also, too, technology plays a big part into that, too.
Yeah, because we're taught, like, our attention span has changed. I feel like we just get over it so quickly. We're like, okay, what else is going to stimulate my mind? What's
the next thing? Because, like,
or we're impatient when things are loading. You know how, like, when you want to show someone something
and it doesn't come out quick
and
enough,
you're like,
and you can't even remember what it is because you can't even have enough memory in your brain to process of, like, oh wait, what was I doing that one time? I can't even remember that one thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you have a lot of it.
Well, during the pandemic, when we had a FaceTime phone call, you told me, do you have ADHD? And that was like, I never thought about it. And then when I started therapy, you know, I'm talking to her about my life or just like my everyday thing. And then she's like, has anyone in your family been like evaluated for ADHD? And I was like, yes, my brother has, you know. Oh, shoot.
Did he have it?
I think he does, but they didn't want to. My parents didn't want. They're like, "Oh no, we won't put you on medication or whatever." I don't really remember what their reasoning was.
I think when it's a child, it's different. I feel like you shouldn't put them on medication.
Oh, okay.
I think when like you're legal and you have a choice of your own to decide if you need it, if it's going to be beneficial towards you. I think with kids, you can easily keep them busy and you can put them in sports, put them in activities. And I know plenty of people, because I was not diagnosed as a child. And my mom
how old were you?
I was 23.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in college when I got.
Wait, so how did that even come about? Like, I need to go get evaluated.
It's funny because it's such a long story where I can go off. It was actually one of my math teachers. So I went to community college and
yes, I think I remember this.
I've had like a love-hate relationship with just school in general, just because I always felt like I wasn't smart enough or I wasn't good enough. But it was like I tried my hardest and I could never figure out why I wasn't good at it. And so I remember being in a college. Yeah, it's so relatable. Everybody can relate to that.
Yeah.
And I just remember being in that math class and it was just a basic intro math, like I want to say like pre-algebra.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I remember it was like the first couple weeks and she literally was the person who changed my life as far as this point. She has been my favorite teacher. Her name is Ms. Bundy at VC. And she literally, I stayed after class because I needed more help. And she was like, if you guys need help with this, you know, just let me know. And so I go up and I'm like, I don't understand why I can't reduce a fraction.
Fractions.
Literally,
I'm still struggling with fractions.
I feel like I get the concept of it, but it just depends if the number gets higher. I'm just like,
yeah, okay, that's enough.
I was like, it's too much brain power. But so I couldn't reduce a fraction, and I went up to the board, and she would put a simple problem up there, and she just saw my face and the frustration I had of not being able to freaking know the steps to do it. And then she literally was like,
so your teacher did, or professor at the time, because this is in BC.
Yeah, she literally stared at me and goes. Like, it was so crazy because she was so, like, nice about it. And she literally was the most compassionate person and goes, it's not that you don't know how to do it. I can see that it's something else. And I literally went, what are you talking? Like, in my head, I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, it's not that you don't know how to do it. Your mind is not letting you, like, do it.
Yeah.
And she literally referred me to the special educations there. And I was able to get tested for free.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes, I'll come back to me.
Yeah, I think I've told you.
Yeah, you told me you need to get tested at the college.
Yeah, because they do it for free.
Yeah.
And so it was like I want to say it was like a 6-week process of getting tested because they take it like seriously. And so it was a 6-week process to get tested. And I remember going in week after week and they would like give me different kinds of puzzles to figure out. Oh my And it felt like a child sitting there trying to figure out these like little shapes and sizes of being able to figure. I don't know what the purpose was behind it, but it was so frustrating. And by the end of it, I actually got diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD. So I think I was 22, 23 by that time I got diagnosed.
And I heard like dyslexia and ADHD go hand in hand.
They're a care package.
That and I think anxiety or depression.
So
or is it all of that?
Funny that you say that because anxiety is actually the problem that I had. And so back then I had severe depression and anxiety. The one that was bugging me the most at the time, because depression I feel like for me wasn't the biggest one, it was anxiety.
Yeah.
So then when I went to go see a therapist, I didn't tell them that I was dyslexic or ADHD or like, ADHD. Well, dyslexic. That was all they needed to know back then. I didn't tell them when I went to go see a therapist because by the time like they were trying to figure out, I went on medication. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend that for everybody. Mm-hmm. It's not a quick fix. I think it's something that you really need to think about. Yep. And for me, back then, I didn't pray about it because I wasn't Christian. I just needed help. Yeah. And so I decided to go on it. And by that time that I went on it, I got misdiagnosed with depression. So they gave me Zoloft.
I've heard of that too. Like them just like, oh, you're just depressed. But there's something making you depressed. Mm-hmm. And it's the frustration that is caused by ADHD.
Yeah. So they gave me Zoloft.
Which I'm not too sure. I've heard of it.
It makes you feel like a zombie. It literally will, it will take away all emotion. Mm-hmm. And you're careless, you're heartless, you really don't care about certain things. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know when you go on it, it changes and alters you as a person. Yeah. So when I got on Zoloft, I literally was only on it for a little bit. And then I literally was like, I don't like the way I feel. I don't feel like myself. Mm-hmm. It cut off all emotion when I was so used to feeling so much emotion. And so I felt like, and I just quit it cold turkey. Yeah. Then it ended up being a couple of years later, I went back to go see a psychiatrist instead. And then I told them that I had dyslexia and ADHD. And they were like, oh, your ADHD is causing you to have anxiety. Mm-hmm. Since you're not treating your ADHD, that's why you have anxiety. Mm-hmm. It's because I can't focus on certain things. Because my mind is racing on so many millions of different things. Yeah. I can't start one thing. I can't finish one thing because I go from one thing to another thing to another thing. And, like, I'll start one thing and then I'll be like, wait, like, I can tell you brushing my teeth in the morning is the hardest thing for me to do because I'll brush my teeth and then I'll be like, oh, my gosh, I need to go grab this while I'm brushing my teeth. And then I go, wait, I'm not even near a sink. How do I do this?
You're like, wait, let me focus on this brushing teeth thing.
So it takes me, like, forever. And so, that's that. So my ADHD was causing my anxiety.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you this. I have an appointment on the 22nd of November, which is this month, which is crazy that it's already November. But I have a appointment on the 22nd, and I told my therapist that. She said, okay, well, at that appointment, ask the nurse practitioner to refer you to a specialist so that you can be evaluated for ADHD. So that's what's going on. So I'm just like, I'm so eager to figure it out. Because, like, why would she tell me that? And then I was like, okay, well, if I don't have it, then what's wrong with me?
But here's the thing. That's exactly what you said. What's wrong with you? There's, like, a question when you have that feeling. Like, I want to say when I got diagnosed, I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulder because there were so many things explained from childhood of me not doing well in school, being the child that they said talks a lot, that never pays attention in class. She has so much potential. I was that kid.
The potential, yeah. So from like the little, I tried not to do so much research on it because I felt like I didn't want to connect too much.
Or self-diagnose yourself.
Yeah, I didn't want to know too much because I didn't want to be like, oh my gosh, that's me. Oh my gosh, that's me. But every time I did, and like I was doing it recently, I'm like, oh my gosh, that kind of sounds like me. I heard from like different resources that with females, it's harder to, or at least they don't really look at females as like, oh, like she has it, because like it's more normal for the male to like seem like they have it because they're just hyper. So they're like, oh, he must have ADHD. But a lot of times they don't notice that the girl in the class is like staring off and is like doodling way too long. Like
it's because girls are normalized in society to have that overactive imagination of like, and that's what, when I did research, that's what came up to, is that only boys and like young boys hyper, too, not even older adults, just like, because they are more, because ADHD to society is just like a little kid running around in circles.
Yeah. Like, and I think that's why my brother was not diagnosed, but evaluated for it. But I'm pretty sure he was like, he does have it. But yeah, he's a hyper kid, yeah, so they saw it in him, but they didn't see it in me, I guess. Or I don't know when I showed signs for it, but when I was talking to my therapist about it, let me tell you a quick story. So recently, me, Corey, my husband, hung out with friends Tony and Margaret. Like we just like met up and we just got like a quick bite at the collection in Oxnard, and then we went to the new Bowlers place.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
So they have like this arcade, and so me and Margaret decide to go and play some games, and then Tony and Corey did their thing. So we're playing a game, and there was this game, like the lights were just so beautiful, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. So okay, what's the game about? What's the Yeah, I totally got distracted by the lights. The object of the game was to like you get all of these like little like ping pong balls, I think, and you hit the unlit lights. Like kind of like these lights right here. Mm-hmm. Like unlit lights, and when you hit them, boom, they light up. They go off. And the more that goes off, the more points you get. So it was my turn to go first. So I went first, and I was hitting literally one at a time. And I was like, wow. Wow. Boom. That's beautiful blue color. And then I was like, oh, I only have like 1,200 points. Margaret goes, she's like throwing all the balls and she's like, boom, everything's lit. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're beating me. And I was like, I lost. And I was like, well, the lights were too pretty. Like, I couldn't.
It's like, ooh, shiny.
Exactly. So I was like, and then I told the therapist that, and then all of a sudden, boom, I went back to when I was 5 years old, and I was a goalie for soccer. And when everyone was near the goal, I was like, don't, and then eventually the ball and the team, went to the other side of the field towards the other goalie. And while they were gone, I looked down, and I noticed that some of the grass had some paint on it. You know how like at soccer games.
Yeah, with the lines and everything.
Yes. So I was like, oh, shoot, that's interesting. And then I picked the grass, and I'm like, oh, if I scratch off, if I like put my nail against the grass, I can get rid of the paint. And I kept doing that, and I just kept picking grass. And I remember hearing my mom's like, stop picking flowers, Raina, they're coming.
Raina, I'm going to tell you right now, I was a flower kid in soccer. I was a flower kid in soccer. Don't get me started on that kid. Like, literally,
and you were picking flowers. I was like, I was taking the paint off of the grass.
I was known in soccer for drinking the most water.
Okay.
That's the weirdest thing to say.
Why were you drinking the most?
Because, like, that was the only thing I was good at. Like,
I get it.
That was, like, the participation award. Like, they were like, oh, she drinks a lot of water. All I did was pick flowers, stand there, and not know what to do. But do I still understand soccer now?
Yeah, I really wanted to, like, be great at it. And I think I had potential, but
that word.
But I feel like I had a lot of heart, but it was very short-lived, my soccer career. But yeah, so then that memory came back, and I was like, wait a minute, does that have anything to do with that? Because I don't know, it might.
It does.
And then just like the margins on the lined paper, like all my doodles, like I have so many. Like I'm like, is that because I'm just lazy, or like like, what's cracking?
I think it's a good thing that that's what you're going through right now, and you have the opportunity to do that, because a lot of people don't. And, like, you have to either seek out the help. I was fortunate enough not to have to seek out the help. I think that it's good that you have, like, you were going to therapy and, like, you had somebody notice that. But if I wasn't,
then, like, I don't know how I would have figured it out.
Would you have seeked it out? That's the question.
I don't think I would have even thought about it. The only other... Okay, so, like, before the therapist said that, like, you were the only one who really, like, said, oh, you might have ADHD. It kind of sounds like me. But even, like, hearing it from you, I was just like, oh, well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. And then it just kind of left my brain. But I think it's because I heard it from the therapist. I was like,
because it's a possibility. And I think, like, it's not a bad thing. I think it's going to help you a lot figure out more of who you are and the style of who you are as how you do things in life. You don't have to get, like, that. I'm a super big person on, like, really thinking through medication. Like, deciding if you did something. Because I will say it, I was on 2 different medications at one time. And it was Adderall and something called Vyvanse. And I had to take them 1 or 2 of them.
Is that like an upper and a downer?
No, so
I mean, I don't know.
They're just 2.
Drugs.
There's, I only know prescription. I'm sorry. No, but like the Vyvanse was like this first one, and they are very thorough about like making sure that it's the right medication for you. But you as an individual have to be very honest with yourself and tell them when it's not working out for you, because it's like. A lot of people get on medication and then they go, oh, this isn't for me. Like the first time I went on Zoloft, I was like, I don't like the way it makes me feel. But I didn't tell my therapist that.
You were like, let me just write it out.
I just literally quit it cold turkey. And so then when I was with my psychiatrist.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And so when I was with my psychiatrist, I really was at the point in my life where I wanted to not fix, but I needed help. And I feel like this was before I had God in my life and before before I became Christian. So I didn't have that faith system. I was at the point where I needed help. Like, I couldn't get daily things done. I couldn't, like, my life was not where I wanted it to be.
What do you mean by daily things?
So for me, my ADHD affects me in, like, daily life. Like, I can go, and a lot of people who have ADHD will, like, agree with it, but, like, you can't, like, finish certain things that you start. So it's, like, daily task within your house. Washing your clothes, cleaning your room, cleaning your car. Like, it's, like, you will let things, because of, like, procrastination kind of comes along with it.
So, like, when you wake up and you say, I'm going to clean my car today, and then you're like, wait, but I need to wake up. Let me make coffee. Oh, I made a mess. Let me clean the dishes. I need to clean the car, but let me take a shower first. Is that kind of what it's like? Okay.
I'm only going to shake my head yes, because she already knows I'm solidifying things.
Okay.
Is that what it's solidifying?
Yeah, like, okay, let me just say this. I need to call my orthodontist, but that I haven't gone to in so long, just to see if they can make me a new retainer, because my dentist said, oh, let's see. And I don't want to call them, but I don't know if that's ADHD.
I think that's not ADHD.
Yeah.
That's just like you not wanting to call because you have to wear a retainer.
No, I want to wear my retainer, but I'm like, I don't want to talk to, I don't want an adult, I guess. There's also that,
There's
too.
a difference between, like,
so I have to, like, learning how to...
Procrastination is a thing by itself, too.
Yeah, that's also my problem.
Yeah. But trust me, me too.
I don't want to make all these phone calls.
It's adulting. You don't really want to take responsibility. Honestly, I didn't sign up for it. I just ended up being one.
Yeah, because you were born in 1991.
Gosh. She's making me older than I actually am.
I was going to say 89, but I'm like, she's not that old.
I haven't even hit 30, Rena.
Okay, sorry.
Dang. I'm just going to cry.
But what was I going to say?
I'm actually very excited for 30. I'm going to Hawaii.
You are?
Yeah. You're more than welcome to come. April of next year.
Yeah. Actually, in April of next year, I'll be in Cancun.
Oh, well, never mind. I told everybody, I was like,
wait, I think...
It's because it's spring break. I chose spring break for a reason.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know when I'll go to Hawaii. I know I'm going to go.
I've never been to Hawaii.
I've never been either.
Yeah, that's why I'm going. I'm like, it's my 30th birthday, and everybody does. I've actually never had a birthday party. Okay, that's a lie.
What do you mean? It's like, family party?
No, I don't get that. Like,
okay.
You know, when you go, like, either on a trip.
Like a huge thing.
Like, everybody goes to Vegas for the 21st birthday.
I haven't had that either. I mean, I've had, like, parties at the house.
But, like, that's, like, your family doing birthday cake
or, like,
for you at the end of the night.
friends and stuff.
Oh, no, I've never had that.
Okay.
Except for this past year.
Okay.
When they gave me a cake during Morgan's party.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That was the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's so weird. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I don't like attention like that.
But you low-key want it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, yes,
you're like,
but no.
So who's gonna throw me a party?
No, actually, I was supposed to have one year, and then it got canceled
because of COVID.
I made stupid decisions.
Never mind. We're not. Okay, we'll get there later.
Yeah, no. But why don't we get on topic now?
Okay, let's just start this episode because this is literally.
I'm telling you, it's ADHD written all over it.
Yeah, like okay, so that's what happens. That's why I was like, okay, Jess, we can do an episode, but like, should we have structure? Because I already know how we can get.
But I like how we hit topics already.
And I really do. I'm actively in my brain trying to stay focused. Like, okay, let's go back.
But I feel like we were doing
great.
Yeah. But then I was like, let's.
Yeah. Then we started talking about Hawaii and like.
Yeah. Then I saw us trailing off, and I was like,
and I'm like, look at us going.
We had solid topics.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry. It is what it is. So Britney Spears posted. You're gonna pull it up.
Yep.
Pull it up. Yeah. So I can remind yourself. Britney Spears, we're not going to talk about the legal stuff. Like I told you, we don't really know much about what's cracking. We do hope for sending all of our hope it's all working out. And I think
she's
it is.
Good now, I heard,
she's
right?
free. Yeah.
She's free. Well, I mean, come on. Like, literally, that was free Britney.
Free Britney. Yeah. So she's doing great. So
what was that thing that she was in, though? What is it called?
Oh, conservatorship.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Sorry. We'll just touch base on that, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So she posted something on Instagram titled, it was a post of her sitting at I'll put a picture. If you're on YouTube right now, you'll see the photo. If you're on Spotify, you can just go to her Instagram and look it up there. But she's sitting at a piano, like a grand piano. For the caption, it says she's listing her pointers for life. Did any of these stand out to you, or?
So, like, is that the question though?
It's not really the question. I just kind of want to. What were your, like, did anything like, okay, that's weird, or like, or
okay, so all of it was weird. I'm gonna be honest, but the way that like my mind works, I literally felt bad for her.
She seems like she's not stuck in the past, but
so
is that what you're thinking?
Yes, because of the fact that she is one of those childhood stars, child stars that like didn't get the chance to grow up like other people. So like a lot of her mindset and why she was in that issue, conservative, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Why she was in that, I just feel like a lot of her childhood was taken away, so she still has that childlike mentality.
I know, like things like laugh a lot, eat sweets,
cry when you need to. Actually, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I know. Say your prayers. That's good.
Yeah, that was a good way to end it off. But never go to bed hungry. That was an interesting.
That's kind of random.
Yeah, that one was like.
That was random.
This one is random. Men, you got to keep your women satisfied. If it's not there, will what be hell to pay?
There will be hell to pay.
So I mean, is that self-worth kind of in a way if you think about it?
That's kind of general. She could be talking about like a bunch of different things with that.
Yeah. Randomly hug somebody.
I literally, when I read that, I was like, when she said, "Don't be scared to be foolish," it kind of hit somewhere inside of me. I was like, okay.
I feel like they've caught her a lot, like, of the time being foolish. Like, those moments of her being just, like, silly in a way. And then they go, why isn't she mature enough? And I think that she gets judged for that. But I also feel like she has a chance to, like, show people what it truly is to, like, live life. Because they tell you, like, to have that childlike kind of. That's what I get from this post. It's very childlike, very, like.
Innocent, fun.
Exactly. And I feel like everybody takes life too seriously sometimes.
That's
to the
true.
point where it's like.
That's kind of what I'm getting from this. Like, her pointers are very just like, have fun. It's all good.
Be happy. That's the thing. Just like appreciate the small stuff. Like a hug is a small thing, but it can go a long way for anybody. And she said, hug anybody. But you know what? I'm going to tell you one thing. What I got from this whole entire post was love.
It is love. Yeah.
So like, yeah, it could be. I'm pretty sure she got a lot of hate for this post. Not gonna lie. She probably like, what is wrong with her? She's weird. She's crazy or something. But the reality of this girl has gone through a lot.
It makes me think about like what she's been through for her to think of things like laugh a lot. These are my pointers for life.
This makes me think about
Eat
her
sweets.
TikToks.
It keeps you happy. And I'm like, was it keeping you happy in those times where you were like not able to do anything because you were under this conservatorship?
And everybody was like controlling her life, and maybe these were the things that helped her feel like
crazy?
She didn't. Yeah, it made her feel like she had control because like she had none at all. Legally, she had nothing. But I think that we can learn a lot from it though, because like I know a lot of people don't take the time. Like I haven't taken the time to actually read up on what exactly she's been through, but like so many people have the rights over her life other than she does. And I know we said we were going to get into that, but I feel like this post has a lot to do with it.
Well, I'm grateful that she is free, and I'm hoping everything works out. I don't know. Again, I don't know much.
I think that it, like, from my opinion of just like a third party of like not knowing so much, but knowing a little bit, I just think that she's going to have a lot of ups and downs still.
Yeah.
Life just gives you ups and downs, and she's just going to have a new reality now.
Is there going to be a new conservator? I don't know. Again, I have no idea. Like a temporary conservator who isn't her dad?
Well, I feel like there has to be some kind of restriction still, like when she gets up. Like we're saying we don't know anything.
Yeah,
we are.
Amy, where you at, girl? Help us out.
I know. I was like, just DM her.
Amy.
Call her, FaceTime her. But I honestly feel like I think it's just going to be tough for her. It's going to be like a whole new season in her life where she's going to have to figure out.
I know, but I guess she's engaged, so she's.
Oh, so she'll have help.
She has help, I guess, but we don't even know him.
But she's been married before too. So.
She's been through some things. So
she's got kids too. Did she get her kids back?
She has. I don't think so. Maybe she might. So those are her pointers. So that
was one of the questions.
Would love to know your pointers for life when you're tied up in situations.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Do you have any pointers? Or maybe there's one. You don't have to give a lot because that's a lot. Like she gave, how much did she give? Like 9, 10?
10 of them.
She gave 10 pointers. That's kind of a lot.
I will say.
And yes, go.
One of the pointers that is say your prayers.
That one is a good one.
It would be like actually taking the time to realize how powerful it is because it's extremely powerful. And I don't think people realize how powerful it could get you out of any situation. And I think that when people feel so like whatever you're going through, like anybody can feel shame, you know, loneliness, depression, anxiety. Like I think that God helps you through every single one of your obstacles. I just think it's you are the person that has to put that initiative in. And you're the one that has to realize that God doesn't have limitations on where he can get you out of and what he can help you with. And I think that people always think that like, I think they always like rule out prayer because they feel shame and they feel like they don't deserve God
to talk to him about it. Yeah. Like, so they're like,
well, I got deep really fast.
Who am I to like enter his presence right now?
Yeah. And it's because it's like, it's self-inflicted, I feel like a lot of the time.
Yeah. Shame, it'd be like that. Or even pride. Like, you're like, I can't pray right now because I feel like
I can't put this feeling aside.
Yeah, like I just can't, Lord. Like,
no, and it's like I will get to it when I get to it, and he understands. But here's the thing: is
the Lord sees my heart. He knows. Yeah, he sure does. And guess what he sees? And I'm talking. This is preaching to the choir.
Truly, it honestly really is because at the same time, it's like, what was I gonna say? No, but like it's pretty like you said, it's like a lot of the time it's like we think that he doesn't care for what we have to say, but the fact is that he's loving and sovereign in everything. Like he literally cares so much about us, about everything. He wants to know our problems. He wants to be every single aspect of our life, a helper, a father, anything that you're missing. He is the one that can fulfill it.
You know how people talk about the way you view your earthly father or parents is the way you might, like it reflects the way you interact with your heavenly father. Yeah. Like, have you ever like seen the parallel between those two?
I have.
Me too.
Yeah. And in a sense of like, for me at least, that gives me a reality of God's character is that he plays a part. He plays each part. And so like my dad was huge on discipline, not like a bad discipline, but like you learn from your consequences kind of discipline. And it's like you take I can't even say responsibility. You take responsibility for your consequences. Like you have to know that each action that you do and each choice that you make is going to come with a consequence if it's negative or positive. That's just how it works. And I think that from my relationship with God, I've seen that like God has so many different aspects to him. I can't limit him. And I think that's one thing that I've learned because my dad's always shown me, like, dad's always been loving. Like, I've been very fortunate to have a very loving dad, and I'm very thankful for that. At the time when I was growing up, when I used to get in trouble and he used to be really harsh, little did I know he was doing it all out of, like, caring for me and trying to teach me lessons and trying to, like, have the best for, like, the best for me. And sometimes that takes a little bit of tough love. And sometimes God's that way, too.
Did you get scared of your dad?
Yeah. It was a healthy fear, I feel like, though.
You're like, oh, shoot. Like, you don't want to disappoint him, so you don't want to, like, open up? Or
Well, my dad used to... So, no. Me and my dad were never close like that until now.
Oh, okay.
Until, like, I want to say... When I became Christian, like, I had more open conversations with him when I became Christian, just because there was, like, I don't know what it was, but I know it was God working, and it, like, we would have deep conversations, just me and him sitting at the kitchen table all night, and just talk about, like, his relationship with God, because there's a cultural difference. My dad was born in Mexico, came here at 18, and honestly, like, I'm Mexican-American, and I'm mostly Americanized. Like, I don't have the privilege of being able to just the roots. So, like, my dad really, when he came over here, was like, I want you to have the best life, and that was more Americanized. And he learned English when I was learning how to talk, so I didn't get to learn Spanish. And so I actually find that okay, because of the fact that, like, he's never told me that my roots weren't important and stuff like that, but it was for him to get to where he's at today. So I'm okay with willing to make sacrifices for that, of not knowing Spanish. I can still learn it. I'm just lazy. Let's be honest.
I know. I stopped blaming my parents a long time ago. Yeah.
It's honestly just like...
I say it, but I'm also like, but it's up to me. Yeah. And I am blaming me now. I still...
Because my sister learned it in high school. She didn't know it.
Really? Is she pretty good at it? Oh my gosh.
And I have like 2 siblings.
I'm a little sad.
I think I'm the only one that can't get away with having a conversation in Spanish out of 5 kids. Yeah.
There's 5 of you guys? How did I miss that? There was only like 3 of you.
No, there's 5 of us.
Wow.
I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest, not married, no kids.
Young person
I'm that
syndrome.
aunt.
Baby, what do they call it? Young
I
baby?
know, that's only middle kid syndrome.
Yeah.
We don't have anything. We're just the babies. We're spoiled.
Supposedly we're spoiled. Do you think we're spoiled?
Yeah.
I think...
You didn't disagree.
I don't think I'm spoiled. I feel like I was just like... Well,
I get away with a lot more?
I didn't do anything.
I'm going to look at you in a certain way. Like,
I didn't do anything
the baby
wrong.
The baby always says they don't do anything wrong.
Well, okay, so, like, my brother was 2 years older than me, and he was, like, the one who was, like, the bad kid. Like, he was the one doing stuff.
Oh, so you didn't look that bad.
I guess I didn't look that bad.
Your brother
But
actually
I don't
set you
think
up.
I was bad. Supposedly, he took all the hits back in the day when my parents were like, ah. Supposedly, he took, I don't know. That's what
They
he
do
says.
that. I'm not going to lie. They do that.
So he's like the good kid, low key.
And they tell you not to learn from their mistakes.
Oh, yeah. I've learned a lot from my brother.
I used to, like, my brothers and sisters.
I tell him that, too. What happened?
Since I have, like, 5 of them, they always
You have
like,
a lot to learn.
So,
As a baby?
No, yeah, and there's a pressure, too, because when I'm little, they catch me on saying, oh, don't do the mistakes that I did. And I was like, I promise to never be like you. And then when I'm like that, they use it against me. They're like, you said you were never going to do that. And the next thing you know,
you're like,
here I am sitting in my own, like,
yeah,
like,
eating your words.
And then they, like, use it as blackmail against me. And then just like,
whatever.
Like a bad person. A spoiled little baby.
It's kind of cool, though, when that happens. Like, I've been saying lately, and I told my cousin this recently, like, the more you know, the more you don't know. Like, you feel like, I understand this.
That's the first time I've ever heard that. The more you know, the more you don't know.
Like, the more you learn, like, even about yourself.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because, like, that's how I feel, at least right now, for me. Like, the more I'm learning about how I am, the more I'm just like, I need to learn more about how I am. Like, I just need to know more, or I need to figure this out. Like, how do I navigate? Like, the more you know, the more you don't know.
I've actually never heard that, but I love that.
Yay!
No, literally. Like, I've...
Changed his Instagram bio. I'm just kidding.
Literally. Actually, I think I've...
The more you know, the more you don't know. Heart,
and then, like,
emoji,
a little... No, I was thinking the little rainbow.
The rainbow? Yeah.
The more you
don't know, the more you know. Or wait, I don't know. Anyway. So...
that got awkward really fast.
So, that's one pointer. Mm-hmm. I mean, dang. Is there anything else? Like, is there anything else you feel? Or is prayer...
No.
Like, you see... Because to me, the type of person that you are, you seem to... not be, okay, how do I say it? You seem strong, yet honest, as far as, like, what you're going through. Yeah. Like, you're strong in the middle of what you're going through, but it's like, but I'm also broken. Yeah, I'm going to talk about my stuff, but I'm, like, broken as I talk about it, but I know that I need to talk about it. Like, you seem like you're strong in that way. I guess that's the definition. Like, you're strong in that way. So how do you get there? Or is it natural? Like, how do you feel, like, to get to that place of just, like, okay, so it's not like, natural, I'm going through my crap right now. Like, what stops you from, like, or maybe you do hit the floor, but, like, what stops you from, like, hitting the ground and, like, falling apart?
It's hitting the ground and falling apart.
So first you do that, and then you
can't just hit the ground and just stay there.
Okay, so you don't stay there.
Yeah. So, like, I don't stay there. The thing about it, I think that I've learned, because I mean, it comes with age, and I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. And it comes with experience, and it comes with, like, living life. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of the time, like, I've lived both sides of being on the floor and staying there. And just, like, living your life. And that's before I found Christ. Because when I found Christ, my life changed. Mm-hmm. Like, How old were you? I was 26. 26. Mm-hmm. And so, like, a lot of people... Like, that's why I love my testimony story. And,
where's that segue?
Yeah. I just wanted you to look at me like, I got this.
I did it. Yeah, did a good
sorry,
job.
Guys. We're really proud of that. But, like...
funny.
So... I was saved at 26, and I'm 29 now, going on 30. I think
Oh my gosh, only 3 years?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I want to say it was
time
just,
flies, but it feels like so much more has happened.
I just feel like it feels like it's been a long time for me. I still have so much, because I remember when I got saved, I was like, oh, how is it going to be in 3 years or 2 years or 4 years? Or like, I was always so curious of like how far I was going to get, because I was so about self-improvement at a time, because when I figured out that I had ADHD and all this other stuff, I've just gone through being on the ground, depressed, to gradually getting better, wanting to, I got into that like kind of mode of self-improvement in my life, and the phase of self-improvement in my life.
Self-love, all that.
Yeah, and I feel like when you get to a point of depression, you can stay in it, and I get it. Like, I personally have experienced it. It's hard. It's not something you can easily just be like, I want to get better, because that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like, truly, the way it works is that you have to have something within yourself to want to get out of it. Like, you can, like, I guess there's a strength. I'm not going to lie. I think that that's one of my qualities, is the strength. I just knew that, like, if I wanted to get anywhere in life, I had to get better. And so I had to help myself, because nobody else was going to help me. Back then, I didn't have God. So it was like, I got to the mentality of being like, the only person that's going to help me at the end of the day is myself. And back then, I felt like that was true.
Yeah.
And then I ended up finding Christ at 26. And then that helped me so much, as far as like, I didn't do that by myself. Like, that whole like phase of my life was God setting me up for salvation, pretty much. And like, he did it so smoothly. And I think it was great that he did it so smoothly, because like, I was at a point in my life where I was getting over depression, or I wasn't getting over, but I was getting help. I was taking medication for my ADHD. I was already at a solid point where I could be a functioning human being in life. So like, by the time he was like, I'm ready for you, because I didn't find him, he found me. Yeah. And so like, by the time he found me, I was at a point where it was part of his plan. And that's where like, I was like super happy about how my testimony goes, is that like, he found me at 26. I was working at Starbucks, and you already know, like, everybody knows who meets me. I've worked at Starbucks. It used to be my identity.
That's how I used to work there.
At our job.
Because of this girl, she interviewed me.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
That's funny. You're like, oh yeah.
Forgot about that. Yeah. But like, just how everything worked out was perfect. It was perfect. It was, he set me up for a way of like knowing that like the plan that he had for me, I needed to be able to get over that stuff. Even though at the time I thought I got over all of it by myself, I wasn't. And
you trip out, you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, like how did I? Yeah.
My whole life.
Yeah.
My whole entire life has been questionable like that. Like, I've had God since day one.
I feel like I haven't thought of it that way, but there has been like situations where I'm like, oh my gosh, God, like you really protected me in that situation. Or like, whoa, I did that? How did I even have the like strength or courage to do that? I actually thought about a situation earlier today. I had to have a conversation with one of my old managers. I was scheduled to work that day, and I actually went in like an hour or two before, and I quit on the spot, and I said, nope, you are XYZ. Like, I wasn't cussing, obviously, but like I said a few things about like telling them why I don't trust their leadership. Like, the fact that I did that, I'm like, whoa, I think I blacked out that whole thing because it was a little bit intense, and I guess we can talk about it more off the air just because it'll take us off track. On my way to that, where I was going to go talk to my manager about it, I was just like playing worship music, and I was just like, God, like help me out. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is crazy. I'm scared. And I also invited them to church afterwards. Like, but if you do want to go to church, here's a card. I gave them like one of the like cards, and I was like, they were like, thank you. Oh, girl, it was crazy.
She's like, you need Jesus.
I was like, because they had asked about Jesus, like it was weird. I don't know.
I get you on that.
But the fact that I like was face to face with like someone of authority, and like I was just like, I'm not coming into work today. Like, I don't know. To me,
but
like,
you have authority,
right?
That's because like there's situations. That's life. I feel like there's certain situations in your life. And when you follow Christ and you believe in God and you have a relationship with him, that's what he wants to be, is that person that you rely on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of us forget that it's a relationship. And when he is your main, your
main squeeze.
He's your main squeeze. Like, that's the person that you're going to go to no matter what. Mm-hmm. He wants you to be loyal. Like, he wants you to literally be there. He wants to be there with you in everything. Like, even in the hard situations, in the joy, and in the bad, and in, the sorrow and everything along those lines. He wants to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. And he can help. And that's why he gave us the Holy Spirit.
He's like, hey, I'll be here.
He's like, oh,
just waiting for you to... I'm right here.
It's like when you have a friend that's like, I'm one text away. Like, you need help.
I know.
It's the same thing.
I know. And then you're like, no, like, I should probably text them. They told me that I should. And then you don't. And you're like, well, it's the same thing. Okay.
It really is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you're brushing off God and you're brushing off your friends.
And you're like, it's fine.
That's what friends are there for, too. Community.
Yeah.
Community is also important. Just saying that.
Have you ever, like, noticed, like, I just can't go to him right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Literally, probably like last week.
Yeah, like
I'm telling you now, like, it isn't as cookie cutter simple as you think it is. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that pride has a lot of ego and everything that, like, our ability within ourselves, flesh, has a huge part to play in that.
Yeah.
And I think that we make things a lot difficult on ourselves. Like, I feel like I've come to the terms this past like week. We like to inflict pain on ourselves. It's because it's like we think we deserve it.
Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna stay here in this crappy place.
Yeah, it's like
and not do the uncomfortable.
I was like, what? Are you about self-pity? That's honestly what it is that we feel like we don't deserve what God's given to us and, like, the right that God's given to us. And I feel like it can take away a lot. And, like, you just asked me, it's like, when was the last time I did that? I did that, like, honestly, like, my relationship with God and prayer and, like, trust has I want to say over the last year has been he's not tested me, but he's really given me opportunities to, like, he presented opportunities of being like, are you going to trust me? Mm-hmm. Are you going to really trust me? Because I think that there's a difference between, like, saying you trust God and actually acting on it. Because you can be the perfect Christian and be like, yeah, I trust God, God bless, like, all of this other stuff. But the fact is that, like, scripture and knowing the Bible, that will get you nowhere. Like you can know and be knowledgeable.
Yeah, but if your heart is not surrendered to him.
And trust is a big word, I feel like. And it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of intention, and it takes a lot of work. And I think that people are like, yeah, I trust God. Really? Do you really trust God? So when you lose your job and you get fired and you have no income and you believe that he's going to give you another, you have to trust that he's going to provide for you. Like, that's what I went over this last year. Like, I'm going to be honest, I got fired from my job. And it was a situation that was not pretty, but it was also a thing where I knew that it was a time that it needed to happen, and it was a closed door. A chapter closing. But he provided through the whole thing because I gave him the trust that he wanted.
And you're in a new chapter.
It's like, so crazy.
Even, like, that chapter.
It was only, like, it hasn't even been a year.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm fine.
But it's so crazy because, like, literally right now, like, people talk about all this stuff sometimes, and I'm just like, yeah. I was like, wait, I've gone through some stuff that I didn't even realize that people would go crazy if it happened to them. They would be like, yeah, I lost my job, I have no income, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. And then I'm just like, wow, I trusted God. And, I mean, it took a lot. It didn't really take a lot, to be honest. I just think I gave him my complete self. Which people are afraid to do. I had COVID. I got fired. I had no job. And then, I got a job.
A weird time.
It really was.
That was weird. Remember when we ran into each other when we went hiking?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Ventura. That. When me and Karen went camping, and then, camping. I know. You said camping, so I was like, I stuck with it. Hiking.
Yeah, and I was like, what happened?
I know.
Yeah.
It was a lot, you guys.
Well, it was weird, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
Who would have thought?
Like,
I was loyal, y'all.
This felt, I was like, no.
It wasn't right.
Like, something specific happened, whether it was like a fire or not, whatever. I'm like, what the freak happened? You know?
That was everybody's response. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, like why?
I was even like...
Yeah, you were like, why?
I was like, you did me dirty. It's fine.
Like,
I wanted to get out anyways. I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't want to be there for 8 years. No offense to my fellow.
8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah. My 197s or 196.
Oh, shoot. I
you
don't
know
know
if you
nothing
know.
about that. No, I
You
don't
were
know nothing about
200s,
that.
huh?
280.
Oh my gosh. I was 197.
28. Woo!
She's so old.
They're in the threes now.
Don't tell me that.
They're in the threes.
I wonder what Adriel is.
Who?
Adriel.
I think
He still works for Starbucks.
actually, he might be a 3.
I think he's a 2.
Oh, okay.
He's been there for a couple of years
Well,
now.
we got hired around the same time, so yeah, he's probably a 2. Yeah, him, Caitlin.
Oh, Caitlin.
We're all 2s. If you worked for Starbucks, you know exactly
I hope
what
Caitlin
we're
fill out
talking
her
about.
application too.
Huh?
I hope Caitlin fill out her application.
Oh, I know. And we were all like, Adriel.
Oh, and Tony too.
Who?
Tony.
Tony doesn't work for Starbucks anymore.
No, but he used to.
But yeah, but I think he might have been like a 250 or
That's okay.
Two
Sorry, you guys. We gotta
50,
let's
40.
get out of Starbucks.
Yeah, sorry. Starbucks lingo right now. Actually, let's just like also go into another realm. You posted a picture of you and your nephews and your niece.
Which one was it?
The crying photo.
Oh, when they moved to Texas.
Yeah, I felt that because I'm like, because I remember when you told me that your sister's kids and the family are uprooting to Japan.
Yes, originally it was Japan.
Because of them being in the service, and I was like, I remember you saying that, and it was just a trip to see that it's today, or at least last week, or this past week.
Because it feels like forever since I brought it up.
Yeah, and I'm like, dang, for real? Like, today's the day? And I'm just like, dang. Like, my brother just had a baby, and I'm just thinking about, like, and I'm just, like, super close, with his kids, so I'm just like, that must be weird.
It was really
to
hard.
feel as, like, an aunt or Thea, whatever you call yourself in that.
Well, the funny thing is...
Are you Thea?
Yeah.
Okay, you're Thea.
Dude, I'm like...
Or are you just Jessica?
I'm Cheska.
I'm Jessica.
Cheska. The way they say it, Cheska.
Jessica.
Not even Jessica.
Jessica.
Cheska.
Cheska with the CH.
The C. I should probably legally change my name.
Cheska.
No, really, it's funny. My little niece has a lisp and she goes to a speech therapist.
How was that?
No, I mean, dude, so it was really sad. I didn't think... So I kind of like avoided it. And then the last night they were there, I spent all of my time with them. We slept in the living room and we watched a movie and they fell asleep on the couch.
That's
but it's
so
just
sweet.
like, I've lived with them for the past 3 years. So they used to live in San Diego and then my nephew was a baby kind of like a baby. Like he was a toddler back then. And then they had my niece and they had her in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And then they moved here when she was like not even 2 yet. Or I think about 2 years old. So she was here from 2 to, she's turning 6 this year on Christmas Eve. Yeah. So I got to spend a lot of time. And then my brother-in-law got stationed, or he got, I don't know if it's stationed or,
what
I don't
the
know.
words are.
Yeah, I don't know military talk. My sister knows it. He got stationed or deployed, one of the two, in Greece. And he was there for like over a year. And so like a year and something. So I decided to live with my sister. My sister asked me to live with her. And I lived with her.
You got super close to your nieces and nephews.
And even before that, even when they were born, because my nephews were 2 weeks apart, because my sisters were pregnant at the same time. I don't recommend you getting sisters pregnant at the same time. It was honestly scary.
That's another episode. That's a YouTube video.
Sibling. Oh, eventually. No, but as far as like that, like it was just really hard. Like he's like my nephew. He's 8 years old now, and
this is
Barrett. Yeah, Bear. John Barrett LeVake. And
you're super close with your oldest nephew.
Yeah. So actually, they're the middle ones. I have 2 other ones.
Oh,
I have 5.
Dang.
5 nephews, actually. So I have like 5 nephews and 1 niece. Mm-hmm. So my brother lives in
your siblings.
Yeah, my brother lives in Vegas. He has I think he's 10 now, and no, actually, I think he's 11 or 12. And then the other one is like 9. And then this, oh my God, I feel like I'm so wrong. I'm so sorry. There's just so many.
I love you guys, I promise.
I swear. They're not in the teenage years, though. They're all under the age of 13. So, or, yeah, they're like 12 or 11. The oldest one is 11 or 12. And so, yeah, they have 2 boys, and then there's my 2 other nephews, and then there's my niece, and then I just had another nephew who turns a year this month.
He's kind of big.
Yeah. He's adorable. Like
when you said, he's almost, I don't know what you posted recently. You mentioned his age, and I was like, he looks older. Or not older, but like he looks like
he's a chunky
tall,
boy. He's thick.
Looks,
let's just say that.
Is it because he's thick? But I don't think he's thick. I just think he looks older.
I just think babies nowadays don't look like their age.
These pandemic babies,
dude, they're a different breed.
Is he a pandemic?
Yes, he's a pandemic baby.
Okay, educate me, because what do they act like?
So 2020 babies are a breed of their own.
What do they do?
They are so observant.
They're
like 10 times more observant. So
they're like, where's your mask?
No, they'll be at the store, and if they look at people with masks, they're aware of like, that doesn't look like a normal person. Like they'll look at you and they're like very like stranger danger. They're like,
everyone is stranger danger.
Yeah, they're like, what's going on here? And so like with him, he's like a parrot. I call him a parrot because, like, he's not advanced in walking or crawling. Like, a kid can barely crawl right now, and he's a year. He's a boy, though, so.
Boys.
A little bit slower.
Yeah,
yes, but with him, he has this ability to, like, he just started talking at, like, a very young age.
He's talking before crawling? Walking?
Yeah, so, like, he mimics.
Oh, that's why you call him a parrot.
Mm-hmm. I call him a parrot because, like, we'll say a word, like, he can say water in Spanish. He goes, agua.
Agua.
And, like, he'll start, like, if you say something, he'll look at your lips and, like, literally,
he's trying.
He's trying to mimic you. And so, like, you could say anything over and over and over again, and eventually he'll say it.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I wasn't that smart at that age.
Like, I mean, I have no idea what I was doing. I think about, like, how was I even doing that? I don't know.
They're attention hogs, too. Like, they're all about their like, because of the fact that, like, everybody was at home in 2020, like, they get so much more affected. Like, they have more social anxiety, I guess I feel like. Like, people they don't know, they get more.
Like, who are you?
But that's pretty much pandemic.
Interesting.
Right there.
Yeah, they're more like.
Please back up.
Yeah, back up.
6 feet, please.
Yeah, 6 feet.
6 feet.
That is so crazy.
But yeah, it's a pandemic baby. But like my niece and nephew left, and it's okay though. I mean, I think
they're gone. Like they're already out there.
They are in their house in Texas.
Oh, so they're not Texas?
They're not in Japan.
Oh, they're not in Japan.
No.
So things change and stuff. So now
somebody didn't pass the qualifications.
Ooh,
my nephew.
Somebody. Wait, what? Sorry,
yeah,
is this too much information for you? Is just gonna get mad?
Oh shoot. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, somebody didn't pass the qualifications.
Okay, we're gonna stop it there.
Sorry, sis. So what city in Texas?
Wichita Falls. They're on an Air Force base, even though he's
Wichita.
Yeah,
I feel like I think
that's what it's called. Yeah, but they're on an Air Force base, and he's a CB, so he's in the Navy.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, selfishly, at least they're in Texas, and you can go visit. It's not as difficult.
If they were in Japan, I probably would have only seen them once in the 3 years of them being over there.
I was talking to Corey about that. I'm like, so Jessica's nephews and nieces are going to Japan. Well, this is when I thought it was in Japan, and he was like, wow. And he's like, if someone in our family, I would probably want to visit them 3 times a year. And I'm like, would that be easy?
That's a lot of money.
He was like, if it was my brother, I would. And I'm like, well, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Let's think about it. Reality for me at least, getting work off and all this other stuff.
Work, holidays, birthday. Like, there's so many other things that factor into it.
And then how long would I be able to go for? Like, a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Me, I'm like a 2-week person, so I'm like.
Have you been out of the country?
Yes.
As Mex? Where?
I've been to Europe.
Wait, do I know this?
I went to Europe for 2 weeks when I was like 22.
Wait, why?
Doesn't like everybody dream about going to Europe?
But have you
backpack? I did.
Is that what you did?
I kind of did. It's a long story. I won't talk about that either.
Y'all.
I literally have been, so my friend in high school was a foreign exchange student. She was from Belgium. So I got to stay at her house for free for 2 weeks. Yeah, so I went to Paris. I went to Amsterdam. I went to the Netherlands.
Isn't Amsterdam pretty cute?
Dude.
Is that
I told myself out of every single place I went to Europe, I would only go back to Amsterdam.
Okay, so I think Margaret told me that Tony wants to go to Amsterdam, and we were like, oh,
dude, it's
weird.
amazing. Everybody
and then
rides
I saw
bikes.
a photo, and I was like, Amsterdam's kind of cute.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So
I would live in Amsterdam if I could. There's canals everywhere. Gosh. Everybody rides bikes.
Everyone
Nobody
is
drives
sleeping
cars.
on Amsterdam.
Yeah, literally. I'm not even joking, you guys. Like, it is beautiful. Like, they, instead of having like parking lots full of cars, it's like bike racks, like bike
racks.
Blah, blah, blah. Bike. I don't know. I can't talk English.
Bike rides.
No, bike racks for days. Like, it's literally lined up. Nobody, like, the pollution there is like non-existent. Everywhere in the Netherlands, everybody rides bikes. Yeah. So there's bike trails.
I've
everywhere.
actually don't know how I would conquer my fear there. I don't ride bikes.
It's like a normal thing. But it's amazing because like it's so beautiful. Like then you see pictures of canals there, and that's through every neighborhood.
Is it kind of like cottagey and like cute small?
It's kind of like you think about like New York. You know how they have like the kind of like, how would you say, the buildings are like they have stoops and like
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
it's kind of like that, but the canal runs right through the middle.
You
so
were
the street.
out there.
I was. I've seen the Notre Dame,
whatever.
Yeah, and then I've been to the Anne Frank house. I walked up the stairs of the Anne Frank house.
Anne Frank.
That was like literally. I had a weird obsession with the Holocaust.
You had an obsession with the Holocaust?
I honestly I loved learning about it. I mean, it wasn't like it was like I learned. That's like one thing.
I was trying to figure out a way to be like, it's okay to have an obsession with the Holocaust.
I listened to stories of the Holocaust survivors and all this.
That's dope, though. Like that's.
But to be honest, like everybody in elementary school, I feel like reads about the Holocaust.
Yeah,
and so everybody reads Anne Frank, and to be able to walk up the stairs that she walked up through to hide, like.
Crazy.
And they were steep stairs, so it was like really surreal for me to get to experience that. And like it was very limited on how many people could go in. You couldn't take flash photography, and like every single room you went into, it just literally felt like you felt like a heaviness of it. And like you felt really connected to what happened. So,
I would probably cry. We can think of a close by going into your YouTube channel.
Shoot.
So
I love how you did that.
Are creating
I'm making my first video. I'm making my first video on Friday because that's the only time I have, honestly.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. On Friday, and it's my testimony. And this is not the first time I've made this video.
Yeah, you've practiced and
I have an actual one posted on YouTube, but I privated it. It's like 3 parts.
I have I feel that.
And it's a one take. Like all of my YouTube career has been one takes.
Oh my gosh, we should show each other our old videos because I was showing Corey I did not want to show him, but they're mad embarrassing. But we should do that together.
Funny. I actually stalked you when I became your friend, and I watched all your podcasts before.
Aww.
When they were like in a bedroom or somewhere, like it was you and Darlene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys had the little mics that you would like
clip to our shirts.
Yeah. I literally was like a fan.
You're like, okay.
I was like. Yeah, did I binge watch them? Probably.
Yes.
All of them. Yeah. But that was like right when I met you too, and I was like
2017.
Yeah, no, I met you 2018.
2018-ish.
No, actually I met you 2019.
Oh no, but like that time.
Yeah.
I think when we
Oh, I thought you meant meeting. Yeah. I was like
2019,
Yes, but YouTube.
Really?
I watched them all. Okay. Like no. Literally I watched them
all.
Aww. That's why I was like so adamant on like coming on.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be a part of this.
Let's do it. And then I want to make my
And I was all for it too. I was like,
yeah. And here you are. You're like gonna film this Friday.
Yeah,
you're making your own.
So it's so crazy because I'm like, how do I do this?
You know how.
I do know how. And the thing about it is just like the consistency. And I even asked you that question. I was like, how are you staying consistent with it?
Yeah.
And I think it's more of a fear of like judgment, to be honest, because with my peers that I actually know, because I'm okay with showing people who I don't know. But I think it's showing the people who know me, the real me, because they don't know.
Are you talking about the Christians or the non?
Both.
Believers. Both?
Both. Like,
just think about Jesus.
And it's not even that, though. It's just, like, because I feel like I am a reserved person as a Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I have friends. Like, I'm friends with everybody, but I also am reserved. Like, I don't,
like you're so
I don't open up to just everybody.
Yeah.
And that's just a thing. Like, it takes a long time for me to still kind of open up to people and to, like, trust people.
Yeah.
And so, like, for people to see me in a vulnerable, like, me open, like, this is me open. This is how I am all the time. And if you're really close friends with me, you know this is how I always am. So, like,
so Abby getting it?
Raina's got it since day one. We literally met at a Starbucks.
We met at a Starbucks.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a long story.
And then in the booth.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So, like,
anyway,
for people to see, like, the real me, I hold back a lot.
You're
like,
scared. Yeah. Because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to show this part of me, but not everyone has seen this part of me.
It's a comfortable part.
But at the same time, it's like, it's still you. It's almost like,
I feel like I'm inviting everybody to get to see who I really am now.
Yeah.
And it's...
Okay, well, if you need anything, like, I'm here. Aww. Even if you want to, like, use this room for something, I don't know what you would use it for. There's, like, nothing cute, really, besides, like, we could do something. I don't know what we can do.
Raina,
but we could do something. I don't know.
I need to figure something out. You can give me the links to all these.
Yeah. Okay, the links. I will send you all of the links.
Yeah, but, like, to be honest, you guys, it's, like, something... I've done it before. I just think it's, like, truly committing to it now. And
is what's going to be.
Yeah, and no, and I have, like... I want to say, like, I have, like, 10 videos... more than 10 videos on my channel.
Wait.
It's because I had a whole series of, like, newly converted Christian.
So you're going to post those?
No.
Oh, why not?
Because those are old and those are from, like, 2000.
You feel different.
Yeah, no, I just want to... So this time around, I really want to stay biblically strong in them because back then I was a baby. I literally was a newborn.
You're like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like, I didn't know context of Bible verses and making sure that they're used in the right context and
not thinking about who could possibly see this right now.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to take into consider everybody. And for me, that's a big thing because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work.
It's huge. But at the same time, it's nice to be, like, vulnerable and, like, honest.
Yeah. And I'm just not going to just sit down videos. I'm going to do vlogs.
I was thinking, like, maybe you can react to, like, clips.
Oh my gosh. That would actually be really
Yeah. Like, this is what I used to think. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
you wouldn't say it like that. But
because, like maybe I'll post them. Or maybe I'll just let you see them.
It's honestly, like, great. It's a great reference that you can, go back to. A lot of them are just
talking about, like, and it literally, my channel, honestly, what I want to do is just help young adults, mainly young women, who don't know where their identity lies. And a lot of the time, like I said, being saved in a lot, like, I know that God had a plan for me, and I learned a lot of things later in life. But I've also gone through so many experiences that I know can help girls and help them in the process before they make them.
Come on.
Or even in the beginning of making them. I think that, a lot of us as women, we kind of get into a mentality of, like, shame, what society says about us. And I feel like what God says about us is a lot stronger. And it can get us through a lot more. And when you learn it faster in life and you learn it younger in life, I think it's more beneficial because I wish I would have known it.
Yep.
And, like, every single thing, like, I have so many stories that I can share that, like, honestly, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you really went through that? Oh my gosh, you really did that? Oh my gosh, like, my BC days were crazy. And I just, like, look back on them and I'm just like, there's so many girls and our young adults that, like that is, like,
are keeping that to themselves and they're like,
yeah, and it's just like, and they just think that they're not going to be heard or cared about, and that's not the case. And I want to be able to, like, share my experiences and what I've learned looking back at them. And if I would have been able to tell my 18-year-old self, my 19-year-old self, that guy was not worth it, their opinions, those friends that you really want to be friends with aren't worth being your friends because they're really not going to care about you or be your friends.
Or push you to be
push you to be the best person, or even just care about you as an individual and your growth. Like, it's gonna, like, I have so much that I want to share with those girls, and that's honestly, like, the purpose that God's put in my heart. And it's always been one thing to work with. Like, I always struggled with the fact, I was like, why did I get saved at 26? Like, I was always like, why did it take so long? Like, I was raised in religion. I've known God since day one. I was raised indifferent. I was Catholic and everything like that. But I had God since day one. And I think, like you have a choice, like you said, to stray away from a relationship with God and pick anything you want. You get a choice. God gave you free will. You don't have to follow him. You don't. And I just remember not following him. I remember
choosing not to, yeah.
Yeah, I remember saying words to my mom, I do not believe in God. Just to hurt her. Like, that was a thing. And it really...
That's a lot of people's stories, too.
And it's just hurt. And I did it because, like, I have always had control issues, and I like to control what I feel, and I like to, like, control, you know, the outcome of things. And so, like, to say that to my mom was just to hurt her, and just, like, I know each side. I know what it is to be non-Christian. I know how it is to Christian. I can understand a person who wasn't Christian, because I was it for 26 years, and I've only been Christian for 3 years. So it's like, I can relate.
Yes. And that's powerful. You can relate to a lot of people through the what's the name?
Honestly, I think it's under...
Will it be the same name?
Yeah. I think I'm just going to keep the same channel, because, like, I have it. And you know
Oh,
what? I should be more prepared.
It's fine. The link's in the bio. No, I'm just...
I only have 15 subscribers. Please subscribe.
Okay. It's okay.
We'll
start. I could use 15. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, it's under just Gallardo.
All right.
I think.
Well,
yeah. Actually, if you look at it, it's actually under just Gallardo.
So, you say Gallardo?
Gallardo.
Okay, because I'm like, I see 2 L's and I'm like, Gallardo. So I'm like,
I was raised American.
Okay, so was I, though.
Every teacher said Gallardo.
Okay, so you're just like Gallardo, whatever.
Yeah, I kind of just say it because it's so much easier.
Okay, so just Gallardo.
No. Gallardo.
Gallardo, yeah.
There you go.
So your YouTube channel is going to be in the show notes.
Yes, it is.
Your Instagram, too. Are you planning on making a different one, or you want to keep it there?
I'll keep it.
Keep it there. That's good choice. Good. Anyways.
I just made it public, to be honest.
It's good.
I don't know why it was private.
So you will be able to follow. Ooh, I just socked my mic. Ow.
It's getting a little out of hand now.
I know. I'm like so excited. Okay, so if you would like to know more, and I don't doubt that you would like to know more, I feel like your story is like super specific and unique and beneficial to a lot of people's lives and their experiences. And I think that a lot of people could benefit from hearing your story. So if that is you, check out Jessica's YouTube channel, follow her on Instagram, whatever it is you need to do to get in contact with her, or at least just like see what's up, because you're also like creative. She's creative, she's honest, she's real, she likes to
dabble in everything.
She likes to put herself out there.
I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
I dabble.
She's
not good at one thing.
A dabbler. And is about to embark on this new venture of creating content online, and for the focus and for the objective of helping young women know their true identity in Christ.
Yes.
And that's what it is. So here it is. You guys got a sneak peek this episode, so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, you guys know where to find her.
Thank you.
We'll put it down there.
It is. I think this was kind of like a push start to actually make me do it.
Pressure.
Honestly, it's like, okay, so now we're saying it if she doesn't do it.
It's gonna happen. Yeah. But we're not gonna feel, just do it, you know?
I honestly that's
we're not talking schedules right now. We're not talking all that. She's gonna start.
Not put an expectation on it.
Yeah.
And then start with
We're starting. She's gonna start. She's gonna share a story. And come along for the ride, because she's putting herself out there. Tune in. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Follow her on Instagram. You do post on Instagram.
I do.
I think
I post stories more than everything.
Stories are a great way to engage with an audience, so you do that. So that's awesome. If you like hearing stories, you can check her out, because she always shares
of the things that
whatever she feels like compelled, she's sharing it. So
if I like a selfie, I'll take a selfie.
Exactly. I need to get better at those things. I don't think about that. So that's really, really great, and I'm glad that you're doing that. And if that's something that you feel that is entertaining to you,
Just to
Here it
see,
is.
Like, I do nothing all day, so I
No, but you do talk, like, you do post on your stories, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. Oh my
I just
God.
tell little tangents. I vent, essentially. You guys are my
But it's
therapist.
relatable.
It's true, because nobody else will say it.
Very relatable. Yeah, and it's fun, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to freaking say it. So, that is Jessica.
Yeah,
Here she is. Here she is, and
Gotta go, because it's been an hour and 37 minutes.
yes, we're almost going to hit an hour, and we're not surprised that that actually happened. And yeah, thank you again to everybody who has tuned in to this episode. Again, check out the show notes to get the links to Jessica's channel. Are you going to send me the channel?
I have to now.
If not, there's going to be an Instagram link. We're going to figure something out.
No, I'll send it to her, because like I'm making it seem like I'm not going to do it, but I am.
But if you're not, it's okay.
No, but I am.
Either way, Jessica's going to be in the description.
She's giving
There's going to be a link. There's going to be a link. You guys can click on it. You'll get in contact with her. And if there's anything that you would like to suggest, critique, comment on, hit me up. Rescue-Rey Podcast. And then we've got Jessica here. So if you want to contact her, there it is. Instagram or YouTube. Thank you for being here. We're glad that you made it. If you watched or listened to this episode all the way through,
you're a real one.
You are a real. Literally, you took the word out of my mouth. You're a real one. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you, and we will see you guys in the next episode. And I'm sure you're gonna friggin' be back.
Oh, hopefully.
Because there's always some, like, I feel like there's at least 5 different topics that we're like, stop.
I know. We were like, that's another topic. That's another one.
Another
Don't
topic.
give it away. I felt like we had a good control over that, though.
I mean, yeah, considering it's been an hour and 40 minutes.
Reality.
But it's okay.
2 hours and something.
Right? Seriously.
Okay, we're going to go.
We're going to go. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.